Yes, we're at the end of the road, and only one of these teams can go to the semifinals to face SAD, our #1 seed from the regular season. And it's been a battle between these two teams, but Evictix leveled up massively on Bind at 13-5. They leveled up massively at the end of their regular season. But can they close it out?
So far, though, from how the maps have transpired in the first two of the series, I definitely do think that Evictix has what it takes to close this out. Even if you have core that plays in unorthodox composition going into this map on split, bring what Roy was mentioning, a double controller, and then playing with a veto on top of that, Evictix's double dive could really be a pain point into the single duelist that we currently have here from core. But as they do have a better loadout on their defensive side, and they start off on that side as well. See what they have cooked up against Evictix.
Core sense this already with Flya spamming through the smoke. Evictix make their way into vents, and it was Scotty that had the veto in the first map. Now it's in the hands of Kumi. He waits at the top of heaven while his teammate goes to heaven. He'll just have to take a more passive approach towards screens, giving Evictix full control of the area, including from main. And now alone, with nowhere to go, it moves. The right timing on the swing with the Band-Aid. It's deadly at first, and Evictix respond in the biggest of ways. Equal numbers. Kumi is on the approach. Of course, I almost said Scotty. Nope, it's in the wings. Flya with util to spare. Wanted to kind of seize up Evictix in this corner. The plant goes through, or want to win the war, not just the fight. And Manshaws watches the angle carefully. Make it a 4K for the man. Evictix on a good foot.
Wait, we talked about Traded being very consistent and good throughout the series, but if we're in for a roller coaster ride with Shaws, I'm down for that roller coaster of emotions on how good he was from the first map going into the first half of the first map rather, and now opening things up with a 4K in the pistol. And these are, again, going into those moments where it creeps up on you for core. It's like, oh crap, we were able to do so well by winning our pistols in the first map, but now we have yet to win one since Pearl. And the tides turn for Evictix. But here comes another energy style stack. A triple high low on the A side, one to spot towards the main. We're walking contact through the wall. This should be easy for Evictix. Clear your left.
With a more passive approach, and the right click gets one. Kumi with more cutoffs and moves, layers up. Evictix have to pull off heroics just to even step onto the site. Dre and in a showdown, 1 versus 1, not knowing where Note is. Time to play with.
It's going to protect the weapon.
Oh, but can't protect himself, and it's a thrifty for Note and friends on core to match it up against Evictix.
It was such a nice try for the read of what we tried to do there for Dre. Because of the stack, again, you're getting that first pick. You don't clear out towards that left side, things become chaotic. So you get this pick. People are now going for the bait switches. So you force now the Whaley to go for the chases. Look at those kill by Traded, by the way, no scope.
Yeah.
But then everybody is right there instantly to go for an instant trade for the defensive side. And it came down to that, cutting off the rotate, preventing the Bulldog from being picked up within that round. Yet, unfortunately, he loses it to a classic being Dre versus Notes. Now that puts Evictix into an eco.
Oh.
Yeah, easy sprays through smokes. And now, yeah, this might be core regaining that momentum.
And Moose is getting an ace off of mostly spamming through smokes. And
true.
Well, it ends just like that. And he's as stoic as ever in the middle of the map. Core shutting down every lane. And it's taking Evictix like blood, sweat, and tears just to even make A close the last round, ending in a 1v1. And a thrifty now for core to not let Evictix get any wind in their sails. Moose, the second ace of the day. Oh, it's gonna get stolen from him, but a flawless for core with the buy-ups that they had. Armor not even scratched. Huge for them.
Yeah, and you saw that they were desperately trying to let Moose get that last kill because that would allow for them to get the Viper's Pit very early in the first portion of this half. That wouldn't allow here for Evictix to get full value of their gun buy going into this round right here. As you can see here, there's regen shields across 3 players, no outlaws. Smoke actually goes for an op instead. So Core thinking that they're going for full shields. Might give him a chance here to fight, but unfortunately here for Evictix, or fortunately maybe, because Smoke's been good on the op throughout the first map. They're avoiding him like the plague. 4 players walking up towards the A ramp, and the chokehold being placed by the veto is what's basically going to sound the alarm for Core to fight back for the A heaven control.
And a lot of A concentration for Evictix, and Smoke's op lives. Maybe a screens hold next round would be more profitable. Evictix able to kind of leverage their Viper's wall to get into ramps and heaven. Core will take a step back, and breaking in, looking to evict is none other than Shaw's, who has been heating up for this squad, but the spike is dropped and no one can get it. Okay, just barely grabbing it there. Traded tries to stabilize the team, but man, Core's already on top of them. Only way to try to break this up would be Dre, yeah. Easy just like that. Now they have someone watching over them. Unless Smoke wants to challenge with the op. It's a sketchy position to hold when you don't know where Dre just went. That kind of solo pushes here for Core. Not really helping out.
Yeah, and that's the weight of playing these long rounds of Valorant in this series. All from that first map. Now you're not checking corners on the defense even when you're rescaling back to try to retake the A site. It almost feels like because I think you rotated from vents, you didn't think somebody was going to be lurking at that spot. You could see this ping finally coming out. So yeah, that's where Dre came through and killed me. So they have to be ready for that as well. Might be one of those moments if Evictix continues to challenge the A site and avoid the op, then it'll be Smoke's responsibility to try to slowly get the re-clear back into the late lurk on the side of Evictix. And that's one small mistake that came through here. Looking back as you heard the dash and you saw the dash, but you're not looking up at that spot because you didn't even hear a drop back into sight. You should expect somebody still playing on the top of the flower pots, and yet Kumi's not watching it, gets caught off guard, and Evictix is able to evict the A site and get the pulse plan victory.
Now that this op is going to be more present at A, it's definitely more stacked towards the right side after Evictix have been paying many visits. After Moose almost got an ace in mid, I don't blame Evictix for, well, I was gonna say avoiding it. Shaw's needs a judge though. Still gonna try and thug it out if you're Evictix, trying to prowler through with a judge.
Yeah, I don't know if we missed a saturate too when we're dashing up there, but that's now you're seeing the power of the op challenging a late lurk towards the A side, and now everybody's dying one by one. Should still be around for Core. Unless Dre activates.
Last player standing.
Nope. Now we're in jump spotting getting opt.
Oh. I knew the answer, I just didn't feel like saying it. You know?
Yeah.
And then, and trying to go through on the into the Viper's pit when there could be someone in vents and someone in mail and you're still getting crunched, and I could always appreciate the eagerness, the effort out of Evictix. Try and break a setup out of Core, but all Core for a reason. And that op is still there for Smoke.
The op at least is starting off on the B side, so one more time, Evictix could avoid it, but they are going to tempo a little bit more quickly. This is a half buy that they currently have. They get info on fly up, but they can't really follow up behind that.
Hello there. Evictix flood in and just eats the barrel from Kumi, and Moose watches at another angle, and Evictix got totally stuffed. And now separated from the spike. Don't have smokes there from Dre, but you got a good shot, and maybe that's all that matters. Defenders using their own Viper's wall to kind of reposition. Traded, puts it on himself to try to break up the focus and the crosshairs, but round feels pretty over. Oh, okay. They waited for Dre's smoke to come back up, so yeah.
Spike's being picked up too, and we're actually starting to overheat until unfortunately Traded steps away at the last second and he gets caught. So yeah, now definitely the chances are pretty much at 90% for Core to finish this.
30 seconds left.
Oh, wait. Boost is low. Noda just got dinked down to 10 HP, and there you go.
Man, the op has just been so powerful for Core, and Traded's got ult,
and
so
you can
there's
definitely
win
see
conditions.
now that for the side of Evictix, it gets very difficult for you to try to slam into sites when it comes down to like util for the interceptor that gobbles up all of that util from Gumi on the A site. So I think Evictix will have to start, you know, defaulting a little bit more, and it might be defaulting into the op and try to push him away, which seems to be where we're starting things off on a 1-3-1 setup.
Be a more bait and switch between Traded and Shaw's when there's the dash in or flashes from Traded on the other side of smokes. Maybe more ramps control for Evictix, but now we're trying mid again as the Haunt claims no one over in Vents, and Moose claims one, and that's spiked down. Not a good position for Evictix when they have two lurkers, but it's gonna let him have it.
Closed.
Yeah, thankfully for Core, and that's what I was mentioning before with the Waylay being very good on split these days and picked a lot more. A lot of defense setups right now kind of gives away like the heaven control, vents control, and they're playing more passively out towards spawn. Now you can play like a high-low, watching for headshots from the B site, and you give false hope for the attack that they have map control, and that's how you counteract on that.
Man, Moose is so good. Repositions, makes Evictix work for it. And Core Moose works for the ace and gets another one on the day. At 18 HP at that, Evictix are floundering.
Yeah, and a very impressive ace going into this one, because the last one that they got, I think, was an eco, right? So this time it shows that he is the anchor player as well. Can't forget about the 4K clutch on Pearl before. Was that an ace, actually? I think even on Pearl in the OT.
Ace. And there was someone from Evictix that almost got an ace. And
yeah, insane,
that was a crazy map.
Insane for Moose so far. But yeah, Evictix is starting to see the slip a little bit here, and I guess with them still keeping their compositions, and for both of these teams, there's still a lack of understanding where the defense tries to adapt now against your composition with the Waylay, and they need to fix that a little bit more. I think keeping now the saturate for the actual hits onto the B site, knowing that the rafter boxes is a common spot if you're playing the B site quite passively. I think this type of defense also rolls back the years. I'm thinking about even Absolute Jupiter of Japan in the first place, when they were playing so far back and passively on the top boxes, thinking that you're taking full site control, full heaven control, and you could just split into the sites, and you're getting caught off by these off-angle positions. It's just running back the years, and now the new kids that are playing this game are starting to realize that you don't have to play forward positions every time on split.
Well, Evictix thinking they could flood in, and maybe Shaw's can deliver them a big opener if he can get space enough, close enough to the site where he could dash in and work the Bucky. I don't know, do you invest ult if you're Evictix? Like, you're at such a weapon disadvantage. Here goes Shaw's, and ult does not connect on that first shot. That's terrible. And Core, just hold the line, hold the wall, and Evictix hold the L. The spike's on the other side of the smoke, and Scotty's best chance would be to force some repurchases, and even then, money is flowing for Core, and Scotty already has the ult, so becoming a more one-sided affair, and now this is a stamina thing, I'm thinking, because Core looked as composed, as well-drilled as ever, and Evictix are trying new things, but the mechanics are slipping away.
Right there was your win con, though. Everything was perfect, right? They haunted for the paranoia, the tethers come through. It should be a free kill, and unfortunately, you're wide off the Bucky shot by 10 feet when you're laying at the feet of Note. And Shaw's unfortunate again. If he was able to get that opener, the rest could flood instead of becoming a crossfire setup for Core on the defense. Now they go back into the ult. Shaw's dying.
First bloods from Core, even in the last map, were huge. Still not enough to come out with the win, and despite going down 5-13, but it's still something they bring into this map. Now you got the evolution, and it's gonna go extinct real quick. You know, the Evictix are on the site. They could be productive here while they are protected. It all depends if Dre can hold on to the flank, and Moose sneaks up on him so fast. Nightfall's exchange, hit on the offense. Evictix just have to fortress up. They leave Raccoon at the top of the site to greet QOR. They were to fight through it, but instead they will fight around it. And Flya picks off one from the perimeter, Astray left behind. Cosmic Divide now to section off the pit.
Wow.
This is insane. What an investment. And it's still gonna go QOR's way. Oh, we're bumping into something. Wait, what was that, Scotty? He doesn't even smile. Okay, a little bit there.
Scotty,
What the hell was that?
Oh my God, that was sick. I mean, that's all luck, but at the same time, that was sick that he clutched it. He snuck through 2 Cosmic Divides, or 2 pits and a Cosmic Divide, catches one off guard. It looks like he stubbed his toe trying to get into this kill, but finally, as he does so, just holds mouse 1 through the other side of the wall. And now the other players get decayed throughout his own pit that lines up 2 kills. That is an important kill and an important victory in clutch for Scotty and Evictix, because QOR was running away with his half. Now, economy's still good. They still have to avoid an op this round again for Evictix, who's currently posted up, perched into the B main that is Smoke in an aggressive angle, and once again avoid it, trying to punish Moose.
My ult's not ready.
Ramp completely open, and you have Moose getting flanked into vents, so kind of up to Kumi to not let this be too free and at least have that threatening presence. Keep Evictix on their toes, and they're spread pretty thin here on where their next move should be.
Yeah, it's like kind of stop and go, trying to see if anybody's going to push out after the 4-on-4. You thin it out the defense on middle, so it's just like, okay, well, should we try to push out? And QOR decides to wait instead because it's still the attack that has to make the move.
Denies the Prowler and still gets a kill. Noted is just that guy. Now we'll fall back in a garage push. Smoke dimensional trip just to get himself in a safer spot. Leaves Note out to dry. Smoke could still surprise him. Will be on his perch with the op. Smoke's still there, flanked from Flya, and denies any kind of fallback points for Evictix, and they're cornered from all sides. Raccoon shoots a clone, which isn't, it's not the start they wanted. Smoke drops down with the op, and still gets a kill. Pretty insane. 1 versus 2 on the post plan for traded, and he cannot buy any time. The fight will come to him whether he likes it or not. And QOR back in the driver's seat.
Oh, very nice in the end. So the idea was perfect in terms of punishing Moose in the first place towards vents, but again, you're still on defense. You're allowing yourselves to play a 2-on-2 on both extremities, and you're letting your opponents come towards you. So if it was actually a challenge towards the A side, they already pushed towards main and they can play the retake. Look at this replay. Look at where the Fade and the Vito are. They're in perfect positions. Like the adaptation for QOR so far in the mid round has been quite good on their defense. And then for the B side, well, they just walk into their crosshairs, and from their positioning, they're able to win these duels. So, yeah, tenacity comes back. And as I criticize both the experience of Moose and Flya from playing on the VCT stage, getting dismantled towards that bind map, they're the ones top fragging on split this time around. So their grit to now play a long game to getting smashed, then bringing that into the experience of, hey, we can always fight back on the 3rd map. That is true experience now from both Moose and Flya.
Yeah, it's just to leave the emotions until the end of the match. QOR
Correct.
able to get back on their feet, but a gap still remains at this top heaven from Evictix. Been gifted to them. And Smoke will get a good peek here, and he's still getting challenged. Even he won't re-peek that. Evictix, one of the best weapons to try and walk into an op sight line with, and nothing is gifted. It has to be earned, and Kumi stays stoic on the A side. Smoke checks every angle, and Evictix get checked at the door.
Last round in the
It's going to be the nature of this game so far, though, as we've prefaced this map. A very strong defensive side for the side of QOR because they have so much stall. You're looking at Viper Walls to Astra Util to Vito Util to cancel out Attacker's Util. It was going to be a difficult aspect for Evictix in the first place. But what really hurts them when you're looking at this timeline is that eco that they suffered in that round number 2. It really allowed for QOR to keep the economy low against Evictix so far in this map. And going into the second half, though, there's still a chance for Evictix to bring us back. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. This is a nice little opener with smoke falling down and a weakened A site.
Kumi has been a really good anchor for this site, but even he is going to choose his battles appropriately and with more friends by his side. Watch this flank, though, something Evictix have to be more aware of and not aware enough. I mean, who expects a moose in a sewer? Works out. All is well for Evictix. Now they got to focus forward. Paranoia right through the hearts of QOR, and that will just freeze them in place. And even then, no, still back on top. Shaw's walks into 1v2. Even with the convergent paths, it's not enough. And that's just it for the half. 9-3 for QOR.
I like the stall at the very beginning, but everything that happened after that was off. Dre gets a paranoid to delay a little bit more, but the nature of that play was also for the second wave. The op needed to be the second point of contact from Shaw's so that Dre could swing off that anyways. But instead, Dre swings first. He dies. Shaw's feels like he has to make a play. So he ults, hits them both, and then hopefully the saturate is good enough for him to get at least one kill. But you just place the crosshair as you're saturated to get, he runs right into it and he falls down as well. And there's nothing that the Hell player could do. So as good as we commended Evictix, at least I did on the first map for their retakes, the post plant there was not it, unfortunately. And now that ends the half. QOR with a very strong lead going into the second half. But now that we're crossing this bridge, Lemon Kiwi, what makes it hard now for Evictix is how the hell do you support your attackers, your main duelist, to get into these A site. The Vito almost has to probably be there with the team so that your Astra and your Viper could be the lurkers. You need the Interceptor to potentially get rid of Util as you're trying to flit across.
And you got the double duelists on defense, so both teams are maybe going to struggle with those tools at their disposal. You spotted the cross, and Scotty only gets one. It works out for QOR. They're on the high ground. Now have to safely escort their spike into position and trade it in position. And wait, a collide with the sheriff. He's still that guy. Smoke versus traded. Who's more goated? And QOR are left. And they have to win this fight. And the other guy's busy planning. Okay, but Moose wins it out, so it's all good.
Did so much damage though for traded. This is all body shots that's winnable now for Evictix on a 2v2. There you go. Nicely done towards the end. I mean, the collat was good too because he did pop shots for the ones that are executing towards the site in the first place. He got the I think the shot on the top of the window towards the A site. So yeah, just very nice stuff coming out here from traded, keeping the dream alive here for Evictix on the defense. We talked about the lack of util, so you're starting to see for QOR, they know their weaknesses, so they're playing a lot of the buddy system and trying to bait out these players when they're playing similar to what Evictix is doing. Tap it for the spike, forces some players to swing out, and then hopefully win off kill trades against your opponents. But now this is an eco round for QOR, full eco.
Ooh, Shaw's has been so clean. He is turning up for Evictix. First Blood's now more in their favor, and they won both pistols on Bind, came out with 13-5. They won both pistols here, they're down 4-9. So, different situation to be finding themselves in. Classics, those right clicks can still hurt if QOR can get on the approach, but Shaw's keeps his distance and sticks to his guns. As QOR are just getting dismantled. It's gonna be an ace opportunity for Shaw's, although the last player is on the other side of the world.
Yeah. And Shaw's got a 4K on the pistol now, or 4K in the anti-eco. Padding up those stats, we'll take it. And Flya, well, he's just gonna get an orb. Maybe if he could even run in for a plant, that's a GG. He'll take that any day. And say he hears the ropes, is trying to cut and maybe do some econ damage. But Evictix in a good spot.
30 seconds left.
Oh, there we go. Raccoon is pretty good bait. Ooh. Traded with these no scopes on the
I was
Marshall,
gonna
he
say.
does it again.
I was just about to
thing
say
has a
that was a
scope.
nice little no scope flick. Doesn't need it. I do that with an outlaw in my ranked games, and I get laughed at by the coach tag. I was like, wait, I thought this is the same thing as a Marshall, but it's not. That's it.
Yeah, bro, the same phase.
Yeah. Good little round coming through here by Evictix to stop the bleeding. I think this was a little bit, well, how we call it in French, farfelu, a little bit crazy, but at least in the end, it's traded out. Raccoon, oh man, I just realized he's at 1 in 13. Maybe he should have gone for that eco kill. Nonetheless.
It's like he's playing around too much for that scoreline, but
Yeah. This is still playoff, right? Playoff rounds. You need to try to bring this into semifinals if you can as a team that's grinding out from the open bracket. But Evictix are looking to play with conviction here. Fast rotates, already 4 players on top of heaven as Core goes for the A side plant.
Core wastes no time with the map control if you give it to them, and Evictix can try to use teamwork, but Core have better guns at the end. It's still a little bit difficult. Moose, oh, he could have had that free kill on the trade, and oh, not like this. Now you give some very worthy upgrades. Evictix, oh, smoke. Makes 2 fade away just like that. 2 versus 2. Dre versus Noted, and getting right on the spike. Notice time to see if he faked it or not. A successful post plan for Core to get up to double digits.
Left at the wrong angle in the end. Almost had it actually if he looked back into Noted at that spot where he looked at it in the first place, but had no idea where Note could have been. Ends up being a round here, no bonus conversion, which would have put Evictix in a great spot. And they're unfortunately catching Raccoon util in hand. Looking to potentially throw a Haunt or a Prowler to re-clear towards the A main, but does it out in the open, and that didn't give a chance here for Evictix to really move out for the final blow to try to convert the bonus round. At least it made it expensive. Look at this buy from Core. He's still invested in Guardians and Phantoms into this round. Note and Kumi bought all the way down to 0. Flyers at 100. Only Moose is the one that has money. So high risk as well for Core. They don't want to give a chance for Evictix to really come back in this game, so they're investing into a heavy rifle round, staying planted in spawn.
Comes that fight for ramp. Traded will leave, and Core can maybe collect this orb for Flya to nightfall into A. While Evictix poke and prod their way through it. Very aggressive gate crash in, and Smoke is profitable as ever. And Evictix can just sit there and watch. They're completely smoked off. Or at least they're about to be. There was that nightfall from Flya in case the fight was coming sooner than they thought. All these trades are favoring Core at the end. Raccoon is very injured. So he'll be the first point of contact, or I guess Dre catches Flya early. Core trying to get back on the high ground. That's where Scotty get a moment here, but no, Core win all their duels, so it's maybe a deny on the up here. No. Oh god. Oh, Smoke is funny.
Yeah, Raccoon thought that he guaranteed the kill, so he just stopped shooting and went back to a different spot and tried to flip towards a second player that could run him down, but somehow Smoke stays alive. And even Smoke getting kills off the op left behind by Traded, that's got to be a round that really hurts for Evictix, and I think that might have been a nail in the coffin. You're starting to see here inexperience potentially of playing these long rounds going into the playoffs now really adding weight onto Evictix going into this third map second half.
Who's next?
Tough day, dimensional drift. Smoke getting active, getting his steps in, has already cleared most of B, but lingering in the smoke is Dre. And he gets checked. Good trades from Core. He did not want that to be a carnage. Evictix not given any chances, but Traded is in now with his dimensional drift with the Sheriff. Be something else in the back pocket. Will decloak all the way behind Core. And the spike never got planted, and it may just never will in this round. Unless Noted wants to pull off some heroics and out of distance, Smoke will assist. Just like that, they'll just kill their way through the round.
Match point.
Just being very unlucky in the end. It came down to a much lower buy that you had from Evictix. So they did try to go. It worked perfectly. I think the convergence path over with combined with the dimensional drift actually hit 3 players. But just unfortunately, they didn't have the best of weapons to try to convert back into a flood retake or flood denial into the B site plant. And they just lost the fight. Even Dre had a primo position through that smoke in that B main, but he only had a guardian, so he couldn't really spray as well to try to take down his opponents in front of that site. And now even losing this battle at the beginning, I think this might be it now, Lemon Kiwi.
First blood for QOR, but Evictix, they've fought through worse. A 30-rounder. QOR eventually won in map 1. Evictix came back, taught him a lesson. Find yourself 4v4.
Toxin screen down.
With a 4v4 with a abandoned B site because of the early push from Dre. Now you're playing inserts across the board and you're trying to go for a scout scenario. Smoke just saw one. Okay, 2 players anchored up towards the A site. The wall contact towards mid. Scotty does not want to overreact, so he's going to play the angle. Might work.
The crosshair was too high, but it's good enough. And Moose still alive with the spike, and high ground has been cleared. Shaw's was maybe the last saving grace for Evictix. Now it's Kumi. Evolution activated. Need to just check that back sight. Keep eyes on heaven. Because look who's at the helm. It's traded. One shot, 2, and you got the spike down. It was never planted, but Kumi is still on top of the case. Raccoon is the sole survivor and dead in the water. 13-5 for QOR. They go to the semifinals to face Sad.